change some oil. So here's some of the things we're going to use today. We're going to use a creeper, an oil pan, an oil wrench, and this is a strap style, a wrench for getting the plug out of the pan, a funnel, an oil filter, and some oil. Alright, so the very first thing we're going to do is get our oil pan underneath, our drip pan underneath the oil pan here. We're going to find the right size wrench here. Missed. My first time changing the oil in this particular vehicle. I just bought it maybe a month or two ago, and they all have their individual quirks. Like, for example, I'll have to remember this one likes to shoot sideways. But that's what shop rags are for. Now this particular truck has a 5.4 liter V8. It's a Ford F-250. The filter location's in a little different spot than on my my Expedition. It's a few years newer. It's actually right close to the oil pan. So I'm going to go ahead and get that loose and go ahead and drain that at the same time here. I can't do that on my other Ford, but it looks like I'll be able to do it on this. Of course the oil is draining right where I want to put my wrench. I'm just getting oil everywhere today. But learning to change the oil yourself and learning how each new vehicle is a little different. Next time I'll be a little cleaner. But that's part of the fun though of doing work yourself, is getting dirty. Alright, so there's the bottom of the oil pan, and there is the oil filter housing. Alrighty, we'll go ahead and put that bolt back in there. Clean up our mess. Hand tighten that, and then we'll go ahead and grab our wrench. Let's see, get the right size here. And a socket obviously would work, or a box wrench. And you're going to go ahead and tighten it snug, not super tight. You don't want to over tighten it because it'll strip it, but just nice and snug, and it won't leak. It will seal just fine. We'll wipe off our excess junk there, and now we'll move on to the oil filter. Anyhow, before we just go ahead and throw this up on there, we're going to take a little bit of our fresh oil and we're going to run that along the outer seal and then along the threads as well. And that'll help us to be able to get it back off the next time, because when you don't do that, they come off really hard. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. So there's the oil that we're using. It's an Extended Performance full synthetic mobile one, and we're just going to go ahead and take a little bit of that fresh oil and we're going to run it around the ring of that seal, and also around the inside of that thread there, and that way we can get it back off next time. Okay, so let's go ahead and look up there. Alright, and we're going to go ahead and stick this up there, get it straight on there, and just start spinning it. Okay, so once that makes contact with that seal, we're going to spin it about 3/4 to 1 revolution around. And if you over tighten these, they do not like to come back off at all. So we're going to be nice and snug, and about 3/4 of a revolution did it for us. So we've got our oil pan plug back in. We've now got our filter back on. We're going to go ahead and wipe everything down, and then we'll move up top and add some oil. Okay, so we have to take our oil cap off, put our funnel in there. It's always a good idea. Most caps have the weight of the oil on them, but always double check the weight to make sure you bought the right thing. This is 520. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and add that. Pull the plug first. The quarts don't have a little seal on them, but for some reason they put one on the 5-quart ones. So here we go. Okay, so we currently have the truck up on ramps, so it's tilted kind of up in the air like that. So I'm going to go ahead and put the cap back on, back it off, start it up, back it off the ramps. I know this truck, this engine takes about 6 quarts, or at least it does on my other one, so I just added 5, so I should be about a quart low. That's fine. We'll go ahead and start it up, and what they'll do is they'll start to cycle the oil through. And for example, that oil filter we put on there, you know, you got that much oil that's needing to get filled up into that. So it'll help to cycle oil through the system, and then we'll recheck it once we have it off the ramps and see where we're at, what we need to add to finish it off. So now that we're back on level ground, we'll go ahead and check the oil. We've let it run for a minute just to cycle the oil through. So we'll see where we're at and what we need to add. So as a general rule, always wipe your dipstick clean. Go ahead and reinsert it. And then check it the second time. But usually there's two little dots that indicate low and full, and we're right about here, so a quart should bring us up to right there. So back over to the funnel. Another quart. Now we'll go ahead and recheck our dipstick. We are right in the middle between the hash marks, right there, just a hair below. So we could still add about another half a quart to it, which I will do, and we should be good. So we've went ahead and buttoned up the oil cap. That's back on. We'll check our oil one last time. I don't know if you can see that or not. We're right about 3/4. And then we still go up just a hair as some of that drains down in. Well, that's perfect. We'll go ahead and start running some synthetic in this old girl. And we're done. That's how you change the oil in your vehicle. Maybe a little bit differences between make and models, but that's the basic process. You drain the oil and take off your oil filter, put on a new one, add some oil. It's pretty simple. It's something that everybody should know how to do, and it'll save you some money in the long run. Just a quick note about the products that I'm using. They're a 15,000 mile full synthetic product from Mobil 1, which is a really good oil, and then using a high life filter with it. This oil, when it comes out after a year, when I've changed it, I let it go a year because I don't drive that many miles. It looks better than a conventional oil at, say, maybe 1,500 miles. If you've ever had to drain oil ahead of schedule, it looks about like that. It's dark in color, but it's not chunky. It's not got a bunch of contaminants in it. It's still velvety smooth and just a little bit darker in color after a year of use. So this is a really good product, and if you drive 15,000 miles or less in a year, man, that is the way to go right there, once a year. The wrench I used to take out the oil pan plug, I think I got it Sears. Yeah, hey, look at that, Craftsman. This is a pretty cool tool. You just grab that, go underneath the truck, and whatever size, boom, there you go. You don't have to worry about which wrench you're bringing in. So that's nice. I highly recommend that if you don't have one. And recently I got one of these strap style filter wrenches. And I've got other wrenches that you know, are like a plier style. And I've got one filter that is just impossible to get to, and it's on our Green Expedition. This is the only thing I've found that's been able to get in there and get that filter off without having to go in from the top side and disassemble the air cleaner, and it's just man, they put that in such a terrible location. But this thing will get just about anything loose. So this is the first time I've ever owned one of these strap style wrenches, and man, is it the bomb diggity. I highly recommend those. So why do I change my own oil? Is it because I'm cheap? Is it because I'm crazy? I don't know. Well, I do like to save money, and changing your own oil is a good way to save some money. You work hard, and so you want to save your paintings as much as you can. The reason that I change it is because I enjoy doing it. Some people may not, but I actually enjoy getting under a car and changing the oil. The reason that I use the products that I do, the Ultra Synthetic Fram 15,000 mile filter and the Mobil 1 synthetic oil. The reason that I use those products is because of the longevity of it. Standard oils, they want you to change every 3,000 miles or 3 months. So with the mileage that I put on my vehicles, that means I can change my oil once a year. Now that may bother some people going that long between oil changes, but with a full synthetic like that, it just makes life simpler. Not only is it a simplification in dollars and cents, but in time. I only have to spend a little bit of time once a year changing the oil in my vehicles, and that's nice. That makes me happy that I'm saving money by doing it myself and saving time. How much time do you spend taking it somewhere and getting the oil changed and waiting while somebody else changes the oil? You've still burned roughly the same amount of time, and you have an outlay of funds that you don't get back. So it makes sense to change your own oil. I highly encourage you that if you don't, to start. That's a simple thing that everybody can do and shouldn't be afraid of doing. It might be a little intimidating the first time, but just do it. It's fun to get out and tinker on your car and to have a part in its maintenance. So hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching. I appreciate all the thumbs up and likes and people subscribing. We appreciate that very much. So thank you.